Imagine yourself walking into an adult playground filled with nothing but hundreds of thousands of ADHDers that have pockets full of trinkets and hearts full of love. Okay. It is like everything you ever wanted as a child to happen. I am talking, you are walking out with pockets full of dumbass little trinkets that you are like, oh my God, these are so awesome.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, our weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Capotis. Welcome back to another episode, fam. Today, we are getting the hype train going for Lost Lands. Guys, I didn't forget about you, okay? Lost Lands fam, it's your month. Dino Disneyland is coming back. I wanted to get the hype train going, so I brought on my good friend Jonte to come chat with you guys about why he loves Lost Lands so much. This is his fourth Lost Lands. He has been on the podcast before. He's one of my good friends. He's an amazing content creator. We're going to get into all that in just a bit, but I realized I haven't done a Lost Lands episode in like 3 years, so it was time. So this is a full guide to all things Lost Lands that you guys are about to get. So whether you are a first timer or you're coming back, you've done it before, hopefully there are some tips and advice in this episode that are going to be helpful. We are going to chat about some of Jonte's favorite stories and memories, what the crowd is like, everything you need to know about travel, stages, music, what to wear, weather, like everything you need to know. This is an hour-long episode, jam-packed. So sit back, start that preparation, start getting ready so you're feeling good in just like under 2 weeks. I think the festival is happening. So that's what you guys can expect in today's episode. If you are not already following us, give us a follow at Rave Culture Cast on all platforms. I'm also at Emma Capotis on my personal platforms. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please consider sharing it with your Rave fam, with your Lost Lands fam. Tweet a link out, post it on your Instagram stories, tag us. All that means a ton. So thank you guys so much for spreading the word. Before we dive into the episode with Jonte, I got to shout out one of our sponsors, Loop Earplugs, who I just got their brand new Sublime collection, you guys. If you were born in the 90s like me, or you just love the 90s aesthetic, the new Sublime collection is inspired by the 90s. And if you guys didn't know, Loop Earplugs makes a variety of different earplugs, but the Experience 2 are my particular favorite because they are made for concert goers and festival goers. They reduce the sound by 17 decibels. So they filter out all the noise, all the damaging levels of music, and they give you a crisp, clear sound. You still get the wubs, you still get the bass, but you're not damaging your hearing. So you're not going to get tinnitus, which is that like really annoying ringing in your ear. That is what happens when you expose your ears to crazy levels of music. So definitely wear earplugs. They come with this cute little packaging. I got the color Sugar Plum. It's this beautiful like raspberry eggplant color I'm going to show you. It comes with 4 different interchangeable tips, so you can change them to fit your ears, whatever is comfortable with you. They're headbang proof. They're shuffle proof. This color is gorgeous. I love it. I always just literally like take this little carrying case and I attach it to the little loop in my lunchbox, so that way I never lose it. And they're really cute. They're meant to stand out. You just pop these in your ear. They feel super comfortable, and the little ring shows. That's why the color is important, because it does show in your ear, so it looks kind of like a little piece of jewelry. So yeah, I think the Sugar Plum color from the new Sublime collection is super cute, but definitely check them out. My discount code is LoopXMK10. That's LoopXMK10 for 10% off any of Loop's earplugs, but 10 out of 10 recommend the Experience ones. Experience 2, these are absolutely amazing, so shout out Loop Earplugs. Congrats on the new Sublime collection. All right, fam, I'm going to leave all of our important resources, links, all that good stuff if you want to support me and the podcast down below. With that being said, let's dive into today's episode. Let's start sharing some tips and advice and fun stories and crazy memories about Lost Lands for you. Go give Jonte a follow. He is at Jonte Pavil on Instagram and TikTok, so go show him some love and support. Say hi to him if you see him at Lost Lands. With all that being said, please welcome Jonte to Rave Culture Cast. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast. Today I am super excited to have on a special guest who is familiar to the podcast. You guys may recognize Jonte. He was on I think it was our EDC Orlando recap / Slumberland recap we did a little while back. But Jonte is the head of merchandising at Lunchbox Packs, you guys. So you've probably seen him over there. Amazing content creator, embodies all things plur, lover of music festivals and wubs, absolute Lost Lands super fan. So there was no one else I would rather have to talk to you guys about Lost Lands and present this festival guide to you other than Jonte. So welcome to Rave Culture Cast, Jonte.
Yay! I'm so excited and I'm so happy to be on this Dubs Wubs episode.
we're
Let's
ready to
go.
rock and roll, you guys. It's a Sunday. We're ready to go. Jonte's like gearing up, personally, professionally, all the things for Lost Lands. So yeah, so we're feeling good. I guess like before we dive into the episode where we're going to give you guys all the details, tips and advice, tell us like the story of you and Lost Lands. Like how many times have you gone? Your background with it, thoughts on Lost Lands, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't discover Lost Lands until way later in my raving career. I was so initially intimidated by the festival. I mean, driving out to the middle of BFE, okay, to do nothing but dubs, wubs, and to break your neck for 4 days straight, right? To a baby raver, that can be very scary. This will be my 4th year going into it. And I feel like just like a majority of other people, I had a friend who kind of was like, let's go check it out. And I was like, all right, fine. I went for the first time right after COVID and immediately fell in love with it. And I was like, I will be coming to this every year until I die. Okay. Right. So that's how that all happened for me.
You're hooked for life. Yeah. And I guess like tell us a little bit too, if anybody wasn't familiar or hasn't seen the first episode, but what's your content creator journey? Like why the EDM community? Why make content? Tell us a little bit about your story too.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny enough, I just initially fell in love with raving probably in 2018. Breakaway, Ohio was my first festival. And I feel like in that weird, like young 20-year-old coming into college, you're making this big move and you don't really have friends. And so I think I was really searching for a community or that sense of belonging. Just, throughout my college career, there were people that were like, oh, do you want to go see this rave happening, at our local hole in the wall venue? It ended up being Griffin was my first festival, my first rave that I went to.
Yep.
And yeah, I just really from there, I mean, once you dive in, I'm sure if you're watching this, once you're in it, you are in it, baby. Like there is no stopping you. So from there, I have always had a love for social media and really just creating digital artwork. And so it kind of just came together one and one. And then around that same time is when I really started diving into my career at Lunchbox, which beautifully, amazingly introduced me to you. And I had always watched your and BB and AIDS videos like for years before I would get ready, like all the tips, the tricks, and the guidance. And it was just so nice to have that information. I feel like it's a very scarce source at the time to have creators that honed in on this community. And so you three were like my ultimate inspirations. And then Lunchbox had made the intro for me to you. And I will never forget attending Imagine Music Festival in 2022. And I was working beatbox with you at the stand and watching you like go off to the side and start your vlogs and just talk to your community. Like it was a one-on-one. And I was like, wow, that is so amazing that you can do this. And I know personally that you have a great impact on people and their rave journeys. And I know that mine has meant a lot to me. And so from there, I was like, if I can even have an impact a fraction of what you have done, I was like, that makes me more than happy and I can find fulfillment in that. And so moving on to EDCO 22 was the first festival that I had ever vlogged or created any content for. And luckily enough, I got to be your roomie during EDCO. We were staying up all night. Yep. All night in the towers. Slumberland. Nonstop party. But from there, it really just like turned into a passion of mine. It went from just a hobby to something that I absolutely love to do. And then having the opportunity to work in the industry professionally and then tie my hobby into it, it just made sense. And so here I am.
It's crazy. It feels like such a long time, but it's like a short time, but you've accomplished a lot in a short time, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You've lived a lot of life in that short time, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you brought up Imagine, just to touch on that too. Like, however you feel about Imagine, that was such a special time. And it was I feel like it was just the people we were with made that festival. And we just had a great freaking time. It just was really fun. We really enjoyed that year in 2022. And same thing with Orlando and Summerland. Like, yeah, Jonte and I straight up did not sleep for like three fucking days being in that hotel. But it was a blast. Yeah. And it's so cool. I mean, if you guys haven't met Jonte, obviously say hi at a festival, but his energy is as contagious in person as it is online, and like he truly embodies and like loves us, and that's just the best thing. Like I think that's how we connected, just like having that same passion. But that's what brings you here today, which is why I'm like, if there's anybody that's more friggin' excited, like Jonte's gonna be able to speak to this experience. So are you ready to dive in? Should we get into this?
Oh my God. I am like, I've been ready. I have been ready for this. I waited since like, Lost Lands ended last year to start this year.
Yeah. I'm sure. Oh my God. Well, I keep forgetting. Like, I always feel like Lost Lands is the last weekend of September and that there's more time to prepare. But really, guys, when you're listening to it, like we're recording this Sunday, I'm turning this around like 2 days later. This is preparation time. So if you're a first timer, or even if like, you know, you went for the first time last year, still going to be tons of tips and advice. So for anyone who doesn't know, we're diving into Lost Lands today. And quick facts for this year, it's September 20th through the 22nd. Obviously, camping begins a little before that. It's in Legend Valley, Ohio, which is such a cool fucking name for the festival. 7th year, which I didn't realize you had gone 4 times, because it feels like still a new festival. But for them going to their 7th year, that went really fast. That's crazy.
Definitely.
Bass music, all things bass music. We'll dive into that. Created by Excision. And it has an incredible campgrounds community, like everything you can imagine. The entire thing is themed as like prehistoric, like dinosaurs. It gives me Dino Disneyland vibes. Is that how you would describe it?
Oh, yeah. So either one is fully acceptable. You can say Dino Disneyland or Dubstep Disneyland. Either one, perfectly acceptable.
That makes sense. Checks out. Okay, so those are just like the facts straight off the bat. But I think before we dive into like all the prep for you guys, I wanted Jonte just to like start this off on like a high note and tell you some of his favorite things. Like if you could describe what you love most, what is bringing you back every year, 4 years in a row, how could you give us like the TLDR of that?
Oh my God. I do not even know where to start. I think that every year when I walk away from Lost Lands, I really try to be very mindful and set intentions going into the festival of what I want to come out of this. Shout out Vibe with Aid. But for me, it's always been the community. It has always been the people. I think a lot of times when you go to festivals and raves, especially with a lot of them becoming very, very mainstream, there is just this flood of a lot of newcomers coming into it who aren't necessarily taught player etiquette or, you know, what the community style is. But for some reason, every year at Lost Lands, everyone just melts together beautifully. It doesn't matter if this is your first year. It doesn't matter if you have been there from, you know, when it first started 7 years ago. It's like everyone just clicks. And I don't know if it's something in the air, but like going into it, I always say there's not a single stranger in sight. Everyone is more than happy to help you. And oftentimes you don't even have to ask. People will just approach you, and there's just so much love and kindness in the air that has not been matched by any other festival I have attended personally. And so every year that is something that I look forward to, and something that I try to really preach in my content for people that are new to be aware of that. It's just this overall sense of community, love, and energy that I am here to protect.
It's amazing. That you put that perfectly, honestly. It's from an outsider looking into, which is why Jonte is here. I have not attended, but I, still wanted to give you guys the coverage and like have somebody who loves it truly speak to it. But from what I've heard and observed and seen online, you can just tell this like cult following and community. Like it's just people. That's what I see and that's what I read. It's just everyone's like the community, the vibes, the people, which is like what is going to make an event stand out and last year over year. So that's really exciting to hear that that's like everything that keeps you coming back. Plus on top of it, obviously we'll get into the amazing production and music and everything else that comes along with it. But it's amazing to hear that it's the vibes. And then, okay, we kind of touched on how you would describe this to someone who hasn't been, but if there's a first timer watching right now, like who doesn't know what they're about to be in for, can you paint a picture of what to expect when they're there?
Absolutely. I would say imagine yourself walking into an adult playground filled with nothing but hundreds of thousands of ADHDers that have pockets full of trinkets and hearts full of love. Okay. It is like everything you ever wanted as a child to happen. I am talking, you are walking out with pockets full of dumbass little trinkets that you are like, oh my God, these are so awesome. I think just going into it, expecting the unexpected, truthfully, especially if you are a first timer. Like I said, this festival differs from any other festival I've been to. And I think that the moment you step onto the grounds, you will immediately feel that. And so I really do think it boils down to just being able and being willing to get lost in the lands, like really just lose yourself, be open to what the festival has to teach you. And just, yeah, expect the unexpected from Lost Lands. I always do. And every year I'm always surprised.
Love it. Yeah, that's fun because that way each experience feels different for you as well, coming year over year. Like you have like completely different experiences. And I like that you said, so with the trinkets and things like that, it's like, even if you're a first timer coming in, willing to be an active participant, right? Because that culture exists because everyone is bringing things that they're willing to share and they're contributing to that culture. So I don't know if you can share anything you have in the works, but do you have your gifts and everything that you're going to hand out planned already?
Emma. I already placed custom gift orders literally when it ended last year. Like I am so ahead of the game. But I do want to stress with that though, that there is literally no need. Like if you don't have the time or if you don't have the money or if you are not able to make even candy, like that is fully okay. I think that Lost Lands really taught me that it's okay to show up with nothing and accept love. I feel like it can be awkward to like have someone give you something and then you're like, oh my God, I don't have something to either give you back or match that gift you gave to me. And Lost Lands really taught me that that is okay. I think the best way to describe it is if you are familiar with Electric Forest, there is the Giving Tree where most attendees will show up and you initially will place a gift on the tree of something that you love that has value to it. And you're kind of offering it up to the community or to the universe for someone else to accept it. At Lost Lands, you are the Giving Tree, bitch. Okay. Everywhere you are walking, someone is handing something to you. Someone is clipping something to you. It is just like so chaotic in the best, most beautiful, magical way possible.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. I can't wait to see. You have to do like, afterwards, not an unboxing, but just like, everything you got at Lost Lands little video. Cause I love to see what everybody got at the end of it, but okay. I'm glad we painted the picture now. So hopefully you guys are hyped. You're excited. A little bit about the music, I guess we could get into. We're not going to do like a full like lineup review or anything today, but obviously, one thing I know people have said to me being that like, I, love house and techno, but I love everything. I can get down with everything. People are like, this would still be a festival that you should attend at some point, like regardless of what music you think you're into. So can you speak a little bit to the music? Because I know the lineup has changed a little bit. They do have some house acts now on one of the stages, which is cool. So what do you think? I know you like some of the heavier stuff, but
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that there's this like sense of when you go to Lost Lands, all you're going to hear is dubstep. And every year that becomes further and further from the truth. Just from the few years that I've been, they definitely do a really good job at incorporating different genres of EDM, even heavy dubstep artists that you expect to just throw down heavily. A lot of them will either have alter ego sets or even during their sets will throw in house or, even techno. So there's definitely a variety of music than I think a lot of people perceive it to be. And specifically speaking to stages this year, they have the Forest stage, which is one of the most magical stages there. And it feels like 50% of that lineup on the stage has now transitioned to allow more house music and techno artists and drum and bass. So I think that if at any point you are let's say, heavy house head and you are overwhelmed with, just the dubs and wubs being blasted in your face, there's almost always somewhere else that you can go within the venue to kind of relax and pick up on a different vibe, both within the EDM category, but then also the vibe of the crowd. It goes from main stage where people are fucking breaking their necks, throwing down, to Subsidia where it's very Wookiee and vibey, and then over to, Forest where you can get that house, that techno energy. So there really is something for everyone at Lost Lands.
Love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I had some friends go who like, I'm glad the drum and bass last year that they really loved. And then even like
Yep.
Dr. Fresh, they said, you got to go see AK Rennie though. My girl AK Rennie is playing. She's going to throw down some bass house, but she said she's like getting into it. She's been preparing. So go see AK Rennie,
Let's
guys. She was
go.
on the podcast last
Done.
season, but beautiful. Okay. Now the preparation. So this is kind of like just you know you've been there, you've experienced it, so you can speak to this, but essentially we're going to take you guys through like everything from arriving, campgrounds, like at the festival, and so on and so forth. So preparation for getting there. How has travel been there? Actually, for this year, what are you doing? Are you camping? When are you getting there? Like, tell us your plans.
Yeah. So for those of you who do not know, I have been a Columbus resident for going on 9 years now. So it's actually about like a 50-minute drive from my house to Legend Valley. So
Oh my
typically
God.
every year it's
Literally amazing. Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Yeah.
So typically every year I would either drive home at the end of the night, or last year we got a Airbnb that randomly popped up for like half the price because they were just trying to book it. So we did that and stayed downtown last year. But this year, baby, I'm glamping.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're village glamping. So I'm very excited. And also, if you're not familiar with the structure, the festival, and I'm sure we'll dive into this in a minute, but just to recap quickly, the festival typically ends at, midnight is when main stage shuts down. Then everyone will flock to kind of the after stages, which then closes around like, I believe it's 4:30. And then at that point, you have to head back to camp. If you are staying at a hotel or not staying, if you are not camping, your last chance to hop on a shuttle is typically around 4:30 a.m. So if you miss that, you're pretty much SOL. So this year, I get to do the feral, rat, nasty, disgusting rhythm after hours in the camps. I've always had to miss it because the shuttles,
Yeah.
not this year.
You get to fully live your life. Oh my God, I love it. See, and it's a new experience, so you'll see something new. Oh, that's so fun. Love that for you. So what is the camping? Is it like preset 10? Is it like a bungalow? What is the setup?
Yeah. So it is like, it's pretty much like a canvas tent material that is already popped up for you. If you are doing glamping, you get to choose between either doing 4 twin beds or like 2 full beds, I believe. And then in there, they give you pretty much everything you need: sheets, pillows, blankets, tables, chairs. And then if you are glamping, you get way more amenities like free showers that are open 24/7. You get free breakfast, you get some free merch items. And you are also, the best perk really is being so close to the festival entrance. A majority of camps, both south and north, you don't actually have to cross the road or go into the new tunnel, which we'll talk about. You are literally just wake up, stretch, put your jersey on, and walk right through the gate into the festival itself. So I would say that's probably the best part of glamping, but it really is the ultimate experience.
That's amazing. I'm glad you did a little bit of everything though, because that's one of my questions is sometimes people say with the camping festivals, like if you don't camp and you don't stay on there, it's not like the same experience or whatnot. But obviously you speaking to like you left every time and still had the most magical, amazing thing.
Definitely.
And camping isn't for some people. I know some people who
Very
have gone
true.
who were like, hell no, it's dusty, musty. I'm not doing it. So like you can have an amazing experience no matter what you do,
Definitely.
but knowing your options. So there are shuttles, then there was a bridge last year, and now they're building a tunnel, fam. They're digging a tunnel. So what is that going to do? Is that essentially just trying to get in the people not camping, like get them in more smoothly, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially between the festival itself and the GA campgrounds, there is a road that is really the main road within Thornville. It's one of the busiest intersections. So even before they had built what we call the Wook Bridge last year, you essentially had to like go to cross the road, and it would be this mass pile up, right? And it would be these kind of officers waiting to then stop the cars and then let everyone cross. And it probably added sometimes up to like 15 minutes of waiting just to be able to cross the road to get into the festival. So to combat that, last year they had built the Great Wook Bridge, if you will. And then they took it one step further this year. And they had actually dug a underground tunnel, which is permanent now for Legend Valley, which is so sick. So now there's no waiting. And it should be so great at like distributing the foot traffic, and it should be just help with congestion overall. But I'm very excited. I actually drove out to Legend Valley, and I had also attended Imagine Music Festival, which also takes place at Legend Valley. And I got to see the tunnel, and it's going to be beautiful. If you have not seen it yet, you should be excited. It is going to be a great addition to the festival this year.
Wait, which festival? You said Imagine Music Festival. Not Imagine,
Oh,
right?
sorry. Secret Dreams. Secret Dreams Festival.
I was
what?
like, Imagine, RIP to Imagine right now. But okay, that makes sense. Okay. No, I love that they're like making the improvements, because if you guys want, there's a whole link on their site which talks about all of the improvements for this year. And it also explains, certain price hikes so that you can see like where your money is going and like why certain tickets were raised in price. But okay, so then anything else as far as transportation, like for people who are either driving in, or like, can you even Uber in? Like, is there an Uber Lyft drop off, or not really?
There is, but I please avoid it at all costs. So essentially, if you plan on utilizing rideshare in the past, what you would have to do is from the campgrounds, you would have to wait in line to hop on a shuttle that would then drive you a little bit outside of the festival into its independent parking lot. And that would be the shuttle rideshare parking lot. So you not only would have to get in line, wait a while, and let me tell you, the line stacks up. Then you would have to make your way over the parking lot to then hopefully be able to call a ride. But I cannot stress, Thornville, which is where the festival takes place, the city, is in the middle of godforsaken nowhere. There's nothing out there, okay? It is 50 minutes from the city. And so a lot of Lyft Uber drivers will not make their way out there. So rideshare is extremely scarce. So I always say avoid that option. Highly recommend the Dino Shuttle. Whether you are not staying on the campgrounds, there is a parking lot right next to where the Dino Shuttle will pick everyone up. So you can park there, take the shuttle, then go. Same thing with hotels. Last time I checked, Dino Shuttles are still available. You should be able to get a weekend pass, I think, for like $100 and maybe $30. I highly recommend.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And then the last piece of advice is, if you are in any of the Facebook groups, a lot of the locals that live right next to the venue itself have acres of land, and they will actually rent that out to people to drive up there. You'll pay $40 and park. Sometimes even the properties offer camping like in their front lawn. So if you don't get camping to Lost Lands, you could just camp there and then walk across the street and go in. So options for sure.
Yeah, they're making the most of these festivals being in their city. So I love that. Okay, so that helps a ton. And hopefully, like with you guys, even if you like didn't even have your plans figured out yet, like hopefully that helps you make a decision, because it's just good to know where you're at. And like not to mention Imagine a million times in this, but when we were at Imagine, I also thought I could just like Uber out of there, and it was not the fucking case. I literally was stranded. So don't do that. Okay, and then. Yeah, but I mean the location was cool, but yeah, we were stuck. So don't do that, fam. Take his advice. Okay, and then camping. So I know you're doing the glamping option this year. If you guys need, I have separate camping videos here on my regular YouTube channel. Just like, we won't get into all those details, but this festival obviously offers like everything from GA. They have car camping, VIP, glamping. There's RV if you want to do an RV. So all kinds of options for you if you're going to do the camping, the campgrounds. I guess, could you touch a little bit on the after situation you mentioned? Like, is this an electric forest situation where there's like sound camps and things like that? Or like, what is the vibe of the campgrounds if you've been through there?
Absolutely. So again, just to touch on it, typically how it goes is the closer of main stage of the festival, if you will, typically will go on and then end around like 1-ish. And then there are about 4 stages that stay open inside the venue post that. It's Subsidia Forest, Raptor Alley, and there's a new stage coming this year. So we don't really know what that means yet, the asteroid stage, but you can party there. There's like each stage is its own category. And I'll leave that up to you to look into your lineup and see what you want to check out. But then at around like 4, they will boot everyone out of the venue, and then you have to waddle over to campgrounds. From there, there is a stage within the campgrounds itself, which I'm pretty confident runs for about another hour or so. But then post that stage turns into like a silent disco area. And then what's great about Lost Lands is like, you can bring in your own decks. I don't know if you like should be doing that. And I don't know how security is with that, but people make it happen. And so people will set up their own renegade sets within the campgrounds that's kind of sprawled out. And so it essentially turns into a whole nother festival itself. You can walk around, take a left, and you have two local DJs who are throwing down. But I will say, from the ones that I have experienced, the artists that will typically throw their own afties do a really good job at working together to make sure that it's not extremely overwhelming. They will like kind of share decks and hop around. So all I know, baby, is when that ends and I'm going to camp, I'm stopping at my tent, grabbing 2 beat boxes, and I'm out. Nobody's going to see me. Nobody's going to hear from me. I got things to do.
Feral mode activated. Yeah, literally.
Yes, absolutely.
Do not perceive, Jonte. The night is young. Yeah. Now I miss the vibes of a campground, but yeah, I mean, all the things you could imagine happening there, and the camaraderie and community in the campgrounds, like all those things are going to be there, you guys. So we'd love to see it. So if whether you've done camping or not, I think it's a good option. I think that's just like another added element that's fun and super convenient as well for the festival. But cool. Okay, we can kind of like quickly touch on, I guess, any just like essentials to bring into this festival, whether it's like preparation for the weather or the elements there, which you could touch on, to like outfit ideas. But what should people be like packing to bring in with them to Lost Lands?
Yeah, absolutely. As somebody who was born and raised here in Ohio, let me be the first to tell you, if you are not familiar, you can experience all 4 seasons in Ohio within hours. I'm talking, you will have a 90-degree day, okay? And then it'll start storming, and then it'll drop down to 50, start snowing, and then it'll hail, and then it will go right back to sunny, beautiful. You won't even realize that it rained. So please, please, please pack for all elements. I personally pack 2 outfits for each day, one that is more geared towards the heat and one that is more geared towards the cold at night. If you can manage, I know that sounds like a lot to pack, but if you can, I highly recommend doing it. It is so unexpected. You can try to go off of a forecast, but almost every year it's never correct. Last year, speaking to it, we were told there was going to be no rain. Then, during the after sets, when I was at the forest stage, it started pouring. We were like, where did this come from? And if you're not familiar with the terrain at Lost Lands, it is a lot of dirt, and which will quickly turn into mud. And so please, please, please bring multiple pairs of shoes. I'm talking rain boots. You're going to want some slides if you need to shower. You're going to want multiple pairs of comfy festival shoes because they will get wrecked and they will probably be a little bit smelly. So bring extras of all the essentials. Bring rain ponchos, bring definitely things to layer up, especially if you are from the West Coast and you are not used to the cold at night. It will drop down to the high 40s at night. And so you are going to be freezing if you don't pack blankets, extra blankets, hoodies, sweatpants, all that stuff. So my general advice is just be prepared for any type of weather at any moment.
Love it. Yeah, bundle up, fam. Especially, okay, so even for the outfits, I love seeing what people wear because I think it's cool to like play into the theme, and I've seen people do such a great job of like going into the whole like dinosaur prehistoric vibe. I know Lost Lands is notorious for having crazy good merch with lines that are insanely long, but so I mean, if people want to go all out, like, are you going to see a little bit of everything, like super comfy, chill clothing to like full rave girl moment?
Absolutely. And if you are like actually totally lost on where to start with your outfits, my biggest piece of advice and something I do is I will go back, and they will always live stream Couchlands is what they call it. And they will post the recordings on YouTube. And what I really enjoy about those is a majority of those videos are them zooming in on the crowd and the audience. And that's actually where I get a lot of my outfit inspo. I feel like when they do that, I'm like, oh my God, pause this video. Did you see what that person's wearing? Take a picture of it. I'm like, I'm doing that type of energy. So if you have no idea where to start, I highly recommend looking at previous videos of Lost Lands and the crowd that was there. But to answer your question, yes, you will see everything. You will see like, girls in an oversized jersey with like wraps, and that's it. You will see girls walking around in pasties and clear undies. You will see dudes in banana hammocks, and then you will see people in full-on suits. So there is no right or wrong answer on how to dress for Lost Lands.
Love it. Beautiful. I'm excited to see your outfits too. Jonte never fucking misses with the outfits, so I'm very, very excited. He always has really good feet, like themes to each of the days, and like it just always comes together. But great tips on
I
weather.
appreciate you.
Yeah, I think always layering up. I know they offer lockers as well, right? I'm a locker girly now at this point. I
Yes.
like feel like I get a locker at every single festival I go to. So I always am like, wear the outfit for the hot weather, and I'm throwing in my pashmina jersey, sweatpants in the locker. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lockers,
Beautiful.
honestly, are a must. Even if you are staying in camp, it is a little bit of a walk to get to even glamping. So I have already rented a locker. It's a mobile charging locker. There's a battery pack in there for you. There's charging cables in there for you. And as we said before, Lost Lands is an extremely heavy gift giving community. And so oftentimes, like, I've been given cuffs that are bigger than my head. And it's like, just, I don't want to have to carry that around all day. So it's nice to be able to have that kind of storage space throughout the weekend. So highly recommend a locker if you haven't already.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Yeah. The gifts add up in there. I usually like, if I bring like my camera, or like any equipment or like anything like that, I also like leave it in overnight too, because you just want to bring it in the first day. But and also for anybody who doesn't know, campgrounds open 7 p.m. on Tuesday, so you can get there earlier than the festival. Obviously, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you can arrive earlier, which is really nice. How is security in the past? I know that's always a question that we get.
Lost Land security. Let me tell you something. Every year, it's always scary because it can change every year. You never really know what the vibe's going to be. But the past few years now, the rule of thumb is if you can clear the metal detector, they're not going to stop you. They will not take your bag from you. They will not open it. They are very, very lenient on allowing you in with, whatever the hell. I cannot stress, obviously, please be safe. Don't be idiotic. Don't bring stupid things into the festival that shouldn't be there. But I'm sure if you search Lost Lands on any social media platform, there's probably at least one video of someone sneaking in something crazy, something so silly into the festival. So there's really not any super tight restrictions on like totems or cameras or anything of the nature. So I would say that I always recommend on the first day, go into it, don't sneak anything in, don't be, crazy, feel out the vibe of security. And then once you kind of understand, how the flow is going, then on the second day, feel free to, be more wonky with it, if you will. But yeah, they're probably the most lax security I've ever been through at a festival.
That checks out. And of course, we have to say, guys, if you're going to bring a bag, we're obviously going to recommend Lunchbox. I've been using Lunchbox since 2019. Jonte works for Lunchbox, but cannot recommend more. The mini backpack, the light pack that just came out. If you don't want the hydration component, the hydration pack, like all the links will be down below, but they're anti-theft. Could not recommend them more. And like now, Jonte designed half of them, but there's just so many different options. So depending on what you guys want, there's just really great options. If you want just like something small and compact, or if you want something bigger and it's all anti-theft and you don't have to worry about it, because every festival deals with theft. So stay hydrated.
Absolutely.
Also go visit the Beatbox tent, guys. This is one of our biggest festivals that we sponsor every single year. Lost Lands fam goes fucking crazy. It's insane. Like it's literally it's up there with like EDC Vegas for us every single year. And the team is going to go crazy with a lot in store for you guys. So go see the Beatbox booth this year as well.
I will be there 20 times at least.
Yep. Please. There's a lot of surprises in store, and we're going to do a meetup as well too. So definitely check that out. But okay. So security, now we're caught up on that. Okay. We're going to get into like inside the festival now. So what you guys can expect, like with the experience, all that good stuff. So I think maybe we could do, people always want to know this, as far as like Main Street, maybe more for the campgrounds. Have you ever seen, like, do they have like a whole Main Street with like all their food, their water, like vendors, all that stuff? Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Main Street, I would almost call it a main square. So essentially the moment you go into the campgrounds, there is this like giant square that is completely lined with food and then retail vendors. Last year, they actually had almost a full type restaurant cafe-esque little area, which was amazing. And then immediately when you walk over, you have like your big ass merch tent. Okay. And let me tell you right now, if you want merch, get there as early as possible, because they will sell out. All right.
Yeah.
I cry every year. But merch is there. And then every year, and something else that I really love about Lost Lands is it is a festival that when they raise the ticket sales and the ticket prices, you see your money go back into that festival. So like last year, they introduced like a whole arcade, a gaming area that was in that kind of square in the campgrounds. And then there's rumored to be new things in there this year. But yeah, there's like that main area where all of your food and vendors are. And then from there, you kind of branch out into camp. But outside of that, the only other place that you can really purchase anything, any food, drinks, or whatever, is going to be back inside the actual venue itself.
Gotcha. Can you go in the campgrounds if you don't have a camping pass? Or like, can anyone have access to that?
Yeah. So you can only go into GA camping if you do not have any type of camping. So glamping individuals, they actually get a glamping wristband. So you can only enter glamping if you have the wristband. But again, during the day, it really depends on your security guard. So like if you have someone in glamping and you're like, yo, like I have a friend in there, can I just run in and say hi? 9 times out of 10, they're not going to stop you, but that restriction is there. So be aware of it.
Got it. Okay. And then beautiful. Okay. So then getting into the festival itself. So take us through, because I think I've watched so many vlogs. So I feel like and I've watched the live streams as well. So I'm like, I have an idea of definitely like the main stage, and I've seen a little bit of forest. But then when I was looking up the other stages, I was like, I honestly don't think I've seen a lot of photos or videos other than like your vlogs and like BB, and like Festival Finesser. So can you paint a picture of like what the festival grounds look like? Because obviously we know the theming, and like you have these crazy dinosaurs everywhere, but how far apart are the stages? How big is this compared to like another event? If you could compare it to anything, give us the tea.
Yeah, I would say it's somewhat equivalent to the size of Forest, but I feel like Forest has like, you have to kind of go down a path that leads to a dead end, and you kind of like have to turn around and like kind of work your way through it, where Lost Lands is almost just a big circle. You can quite literally just rotate in a circle throughout the stages. So right when you first walk in, they force you to walk through this giant merch tent. You kind of like clear these giant, definitely. Oh man. And that line too is crazy, but you like clear the trees, and then you are immediately exposed to the prehistoric stage, which is main stage. So that's kind of like your first like, oh my God, we made it. Everyone's just like tears, cry, everybody's hugging. It's like
the best.
And so, yeah, you're at prehistoric. And then that is where Becky, if you're not familiar, Becky is the long neck dinosaur that everybody loves and knows. She is at prehistoric. But from there, you kind of do a rotation, which from prehistoric will lead you to Subsidia. So Subsidia is definitely a smaller stage, but one of the bigger ones out of the smaller stages, if that makes sense. So from Subsidia, there's this giant forest area, which gives very much forest energy. All the trees light up. There's like little art installations, activations. If you ever need to de-stimulate, going into that area is just beautiful. There's not really like loud music blaring or anything. It's a very peaceful area. Once you clear that, you hit Forest Stage, which is probably the biggest like stage other than Subsidia. So Forest Stage is very chill. It's almost on like a raised hill. So you can kind of like chill on the hill and like watch the stage. Nice. So it's fantastic vibe. From there, you have like a bunch of small stages that typically won't even open up until the Afties begin. So it's going to be like Raptor Alley. I think the Asteroid stage might be Afties one. I'm not sure what they're doing with that. And then from there, you're like all the way in the right corner now, if you're with me. There's like a red hidden door stage every year. And so like there's this red door, and there's usually a long line outside of it. But that place is nuts because they don't announce who's going to be there ever. So people have walked in to Excision himself throwing down, and it is very, very tiny little room. You are automatically on rail when you enter.
That's awesome.
So if you can get in there, highly recommend. And then from there, you're going to hit Wampy Woods, which is secondary main stage. So Wampy, if you're looking directly at Wampy, directly behind Wampy, a little bit to the right, is prehistoric. So while you're standing at Wampy Woods yourself, you can actually watch what's going on at prehistoric too. So it's definitely a vibe. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then in that circle is just a bunch of different art installations and dinos and like bars and food and retailers. So it's pretty cool to just walk around and explore. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to like hear how big it's gotten because I feel like I still think of
It's
like the
huge.
2017, 18 era of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, literally when I was doing research, I was like, I didn't even know they had this many fucking stages. It's just crazy to see, yeah, how much it's grown. And the main stage design last year was sick. It just looked beautiful. You could see the improvements they made to the design of it. Yeah, like it just
Yeah.
really, really looked amazing. And we didn't touch too much on genres, but I know you said forest is more like where you see like the other genre, like
Mm-hmm.
house music and things like that there. And then
Yeah.
Subsidio, which is a label that they created, Excision
Yep.
created.
Mm-hmm.
Is that more, would you say, like, is that more like experimental, like down tempo
Yeah.
kind of vibes? Like what's over there?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say that's more of like the experimental bass. It's your kind
Hmm.
of Wook vibe, if you will. I feel like one of the larger names that typically is there every year is Amity. I feel like a lot of people know
Hmm.
them. A lot of vocalists, Halian performed there last year.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so it's a
You
lot
say
of
melodic
the
bass
smaller
a
names.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah. Okay,
sure. It's
interesting.
definitely a vibe. Yeah, yeah.
I
And
guess like
then
it depends on if what's been released too, because like if you guys go look at Subsidia's
totally.
releases, like pretty much anybody that's
Hmm.
probably released with Subsidia is going to be on that stage. So sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
No, no, that's okay. Yeah, it's definitely a vibe. Again, I feel like Forest and Subsidia are your like very chill. You just want to like lay on the grass, blow
Hmm.
up your chillbo, lay in a hammock, and just vibe. Those are going to be your two areas.
Nice. Okay, sweet. And then I wrote down. Okay, so Raptor Alley, and then is Artifact a stage? I don't know if I. What is
Yeah.
that?
So Artifact Stage, which I'm extremely salty about, is last year was like the hard style stage. It was like only
Mm.
open once the festival was closing, and it was like Little Texas. Jeannie had performed at that stage last year.
Love
So
her.
it's
Yeah.
definitely like the genres that don't necessarily click in the US quite yet.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was like the tiny, I'm talking like it was like a deck that was very elevated. It was very, very
Hmm.
tiny. But from what I'm hearing, they're actually getting rid of that stage potentially to make room
Okay.
for this Asteroid 360 stage we haven't seen yet. So
Hmm.
TBD on if that will be there this year or not.
Very cool. Okay, I'm excited to see what the
Yeah.
asteroid stages as well. Okay, cool. And you touched on the art installations. I'm gonna leave some of that up to you guys, like
Yes.
whether to just experience it in
Please.
person or go watch the vlogs. But okay, crowd. You've touched on it a little bit. But
Yeah.
maybe anything else you could share as far as like the crowd, any funny stories of people you've interacted
Yes.
with or shit that you've seen. We need a clip,
Yes.
Jonte. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start. I feel like I have said the crowd is just, it's so plur. It's the most plur that I ever see. I will say though, during the heavy hitting artists, for example, like DJ Diesel, I remember last year, that is where you are going to have your 6'4" shirtless frat men who are
Mm.
just fucking wailing around in the crowd, and there's obviously like mosh pit etiquette that you should follow, but after 20 beers and whatever the hell else, a lot of that gets
Hmm.
lost. And so I will say, if you are somebody who plans to get on rail for any of the big name artists, if you are not somebody that wants to actively get sucked up into a mosh pit or be involved in any way, and you want to be on rail, try to go on rail to the left or the right. I wouldn't necessarily aim right for the center.
Hmm.
Otherwise, bestie, you may get sucked up and you may be throwing
Yeah.
elbows for your life. So just be careful. But yeah, I mean, everywhere you look, everybody is a character. Some weird ass wonky shit is going on. Like it is just everywhere you look.
Yeah.
Um, I'm, I mean, like literally last year, for example, this girl was walking past me and she had a bottle of Tito's full in her arms, dressed up like a baby. It had a diaper. It had like a pin, a little nightcap. Like it had googly eyes on it. And I was like, "Is that your child?" And she said, "Yes, this is my child." And I was like, I kissed it. I said, "God bless your child. I hope that it has safe passage the rest of the festival." And she said, "I have a backup child," and pulled out a little mini Tito shot and was like, "For you." And I shot the shit with this little baby, the stranger. Yeah. So you
That's
never
so
know.
good though. The creativity never ceases to amaze me with this cute. Yeah, the
No,
TikToks I've seen from Lost Lands of just like
definitely.
people like on the ground just like playing with little worms and shit like that. I'm always like, what the actual fuck is going on here? But I would expect
Yes.
literally nothing less from the Lost
No.
Lands crowd. So yeah, again, you're
Mm-mm.
just gonna have to experience it for yourself.
For
But
sure.
great point touching on mosh pit etiquette. I completely agree with you. I think like
Yes.
just being smart about where you're standing. Like you obviously know
Totally.
where like those, for the most part, those things are going to like break out. And a lot of the times it's like
Mm-hmm.
front and center. So if you want
Yep.
to avoid that at all costs, like definitely do that.
Yeah.
And just see where you vibe with, see what stage you
Yeah.
vibe with. If you need to hang in the back or the sides, definitely do that. But play
Yeah.
into it and let your inner
Get
child out as far as the
lost.
crowd
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're kind of like wrapping up here, you guys. I want to make sure we touch on everything, but have you ever done the VIP experience at Lost Lands? Like, how does that compare to the GA experience?
Yeah. I personally have never been a VIP at Lost Lands. I have never felt the need for it. I will say, even up till this day, if it feels like they kind of struggle with what to do with VIP up
Mm-hmm.
until 2023. For example, at Prehistoric Stage, the VIP was pushed all the way to the left front facing of the stage. And so these people like were almost on a hill. It was very small. It just was not really the vibe. It was difficult to get to. And so it seems that they keep trying to move all the VIPs at each stage around to really figure out the vibe and where it needs to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But even just like watching the VIPs, I feel like if you are somebody that, really, really respects having your space and you need those tables, it's a must for you. If you are somebody that is a frequent peer or, any of those amenities, if they like really hit home with you, I would say shoot for VIP. But out of my years of experience, and I think for a lot of my friends in Rave fam, there has never been a moment where we were like, let's get VIP. It's
Right.
very
That's good
GA
to know.
friendly. Yeah, for
Love
sure.
that. Okay, cool. I think that's good though,
Yeah,
because even like, because they're expensive. Like they're an investment in these festivals. Like it's not cheap. So I think it's good to know that, and I think it's also nice to have something to look forward to as well. Because I did EDC
absolutely.
Vegas GA 4 years, and I think like the fifth year I won VIP in like a contest. So like I could
Yeah,
have said the same thing. Like you could do GA there and like still have an amazing fucking
totally.
experience. But I was just curious. I'm excited to hear what the glamping is like.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we didn't really touch on this as much, but I guess really quickly, like food, drinks, bathroom, like anything you would say, is that like just pretty typical festival stuff or anything stand out to you?
I would say Los Angeles is really known for their food vendors. I feel like a lot of the heavy hitters in the bass community that you don't necessarily see at all the big festivals, they all like reunite at Los Angeles. I know like Wookie Dogs is a big one for a lot of people. I Heart Spicy Pie is a favorite. They're like famous grilled cheese. I forget what the name of it is, but like everyone loves that for sure. So there's definitely unique ones, I feel like geared towards the bass community. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Bathrooms are not typical. Let me tell you right now. Oh my God. There is like one area of bathrooms that you do not have to literally climb up a hill to get to. And it is the GA bathrooms located all the way at the back of the venue. It's going to be in like past Forest, past the like Raptor Alley stages. Those are really easy to walk up to. And I feel like a lot of people know that and recognize it. So they are busier, but any other bathroom you're going to try to get to, you have a very steep hike to get to. So
Mm,
I would say if you are somebody that, isn't physically inclined to go up hills or take on that physicality,
mm-hmm.
I would maybe shoot for VIP, upgrade if you can. But if not, I always shoot straight back to the venue, back of the venue, so I can just
Worth
walk right
it.
up to a porta potty.
Yeah. See, this is the insider information, guys. This is the shit you wouldn't know if you like this. This is literally this is how I prepare for festivals too. I'm like, give me the tea. Like, what do I actually need to know about it when I get there? Okay, and
Definitely.
then I guess with that too, I'm curious. Like, if you had to put on like your constructive criticism hat right now, like, what would you like
Yes,
to see improved this year? Obviously, this has been rave
definitely.
reviews, but like, what could
Yeah.
they improve? What could they do better?
Absolutely. I would say, and I'm pretty harsh and very vocal about this, and it's something that I think surprises me when it comes to Lost Lands, is the medical staff and the availability of just medics being around. So last year, again, I'm not sure if it's shifting at all this year, but last year there was really just one medical tent inside the venue, and it was very, very small little booth that was run by maybe two medics, I feel like. And so
Mm-hmm.
there was literally a line of people who needed like band-aids or like medical attention that wasn't super immediate. I will never forget, like the line was wrapped around the block and I was like, is this a meet and greet? Like, what are these people
Mm-hmm.
doing? And come to find out, it was people waiting for, medical treatment. There was a guy standing in line, like with his nose tilted back, just blood dripping down his face. He
Yeah.
probably waited there for like 30 minutes. And I mean, even my sister, she went down, she went down even before we got into the mosh pit, she fell down and like really scraped up her knee last year, and there was just blood everywhere. And so we waited a long time for any type of medical help. And even then it wasn't super great. So I'm really hoping they put a lot of money into that. And also something, if I can just give any other piece of feedback or advice, typically End Overdose is there. If you have the opportunity, please stop by End Overdose. If you already have Narcan, pick up extras. It takes 30 seconds to get certified and to get as many as you'd like. And then one other thing with Lost Lands is it is so incredibly loud and dense. And if you are not near a stage, it is very dark. There's almost no path lights. So it is very difficult for medical staff to find people within the crowd. So with Lost Lands, the etiquette is if you ever see somebody who needs help or, you know, any medical emergency, please turn on your phone flashlight, raise it up to the sky, point it at the DJ, tell everyone around you to do the same. Typically someone will notice, and that will allow medical staff to get to you much easier. So that is always something that I preach as well, those two things. So please take those into account.
That. Appreciate that. Those are great reminders for anybody. Yeah, like when the map comes out, you guys, just reiterating, like, yeah, always look up where the medical tent is or tents are, bathrooms, like anything like that. Obviously, go visit End Overdose, test your substances, all those things. Like, make sure you're taking care of yourself before the event. You're being safe. And I also thought I want to throw in there, because they're sitting next to me, earplugs. Because when you said the crowd is really dense, I was like, earplugs, baby. Protect your hearing, guys, please. Especially if you're at the rail. I literally could not imagine being on the rail and not fucking wearing earplugs. So please wear earplugs. So important. Obviously, staying hydrated. All the basic things. I've had Dance Safe on here so many times, and they say over and over and over again, guys, like the main reason people end up in medical is because they forget to do simple things like drinking enough water and eating full meals. Like, your body just needs those things. So keep yourself hydrated. Okay. Now that we've preached to everybody, last little things here. Okay. So any last tips or advice we missed? Like, did you make any mistakes the last few years and you're like, do not be like me, do not make this mistake?
Oh my God, yes. And I do this every year, and it's something I always forget because it's so minuscule, is at Lost Lands, especially if it doesn't rain, it gets so fucking dusty, bro. I am talking like standing at the stage, there are times where I can't tell if it is fog coming from the stage or if it is just the dirt being kicked up, and I almost don't want to know because it disgusts me. I'm talking like you will leave, blow your nose, and it is just pure black snot. So if you are going, I highly recommend you have two options. Either bringing actual disposable masks, not reusable ones. If you bring reusable ones, after the first few hours of each day, it is going to be covered in dust and essentially made useless. So that, and then also a lot of people I know like to do that, like use their pashmina as a mask for aesthetic. It looks better. I personally do that. So bring multiple pashminas, just make sure that you are having some type of protection over your face, even if you don't do it all the time. Like at some moments, especially when going from stage to stage, just cover your face. It can definitely prevent you from getting sick. I feel like every year, a lot of people are just so sick, especially from the dirt and the sand that they're taking in. So that's a mistake I make every year. I would really try to avoid it if you can.
Beautiful. No, that's literally perfect. I'm glad you said that. That happened to me at Forest. I had my pashmina and my mask, but there were some areas that were like absolutely brutal, and I ended up using the boom boom sticks because I literally couldn't breathe. So I started doing the boom boom sticks so that I could fucking breathe. It was crazy. So no, all amazing advice, you guys. I hope this episode was so helpful, and there's so many more things we could go into, and we would be here for another hour. But Jonte, is there anything you're planning? Like, can people come find you? Are you doing a meetup? What does Lunchbox have planned? Like, let us know like what you have planned for Lost Lands.
Yeah. So actually this year I'm very excited. I don't think anything has been done like this before, but I have partnered with over 30 of the biggest creators that will be attending Lost Lands. We are really duking it out. I'm trying to plan and organize a creator meetup. It's not just for creators to show up and meet each other, but I want to, allow the community to come meet your favorite people you see on the internet that really preach plur etiquette. And so I think we have finally figured out we will be doing that sometime Friday. We're waiting for set times to drop, but it will most likely be Friday early afternoon. There will be a whole crowd of us. So if you can make that, it would be such an honor and privilege to trade candy with you guys. And then Lunchbox will be having a meetup. I will attend, and same with Beatbox. So those are my three.
Oh, yeah.
But if not, you don't want to attend any of those, look for a really weird dude and a frog bucket hat with critter clips, and I promise you it will be me.
Amazing. Okay, and then plug your socials. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah. So you can connect with me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and it is all the same handle, which is Jonte Paviel.
Amazing. Yeah, guys, I'll link all the information. Follow his socials so that you can see like the meetup times, locations, map, all that good stuff. So you don't miss out on anything. And of course, we'll leave all the links and resources. Support Lunchbox, Beatbox. It's gonna be a great fucking weekend, you guys. Jonte, thank you so much. I actually have FOMO now. I'm like mad I'm not going.
Hey, I will take your
Mm-hmm.
spirit and let her fly into Lost Lands. Whatever lives.
If I'm going, you will take me in the future. Like I'm gonna go. I actually have a wedding that Saturday, so like it wouldn't have not worked out this year, but yeah, it's gonna happen at some point.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Jonte. This was amazing. And guys, you can connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. We have a Facebook group, Discord, all that good stuff. If you guys enjoy this episode, the best thing you can do is share a link with a friend, spread the word, rate, review, subscribe. And we appreciate you for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday with a new episode. Have an amazing Lost Lands.
Thanks, guys. Bye.